What's up, guys? Mike here, head trader at True Trading Group. October 22nd is a bittersweet day because we nailed a home run short on BIIB, but I left a ton on the table. That's why it's kind of bittersweet. I'm not really, I can't be too upset about it because it was a really, really good trade. It was my number one focus coming into the day. No small caps really on watch this morning for me. Was just focusing on two large caps, BIIB and STMP, earnings names. Previous videos, we talked about how, I also have a new swing trade that I opened up today, long JNUG. I'm going to go over that with you too. So today, in this video, we're going to talk about how I use technical analysis plus fundamental analysis to catch a picture-perfect trade on BIIB, and it was a home run. Even though I left so much on the table, it still was a really good trade. A lot of members caught it. We had a lot of guests in chat today from the YouTube community. So for those that are listening and then were in chat with us today, I hope you guys enjoyed your day. Thanks for coming in there and saying what's up. I had a couple people send me messages during the day in chat, let me know that they were from the YouTube community. Yeah, we're going to talk about the BIIB trade and then the JNUG swing. All right, so today's is a pretty cool video. First, let's get into BIIB, the day trade. Okay, only one day trade for me, and then I enter the swing trade long JNUG. BIIB gapped up today huge, because of two things. One, earnings. Two, they resubmitted their drug application for Alzheimer's drug. Okay. They got denied from the FDA right here in March, and that's why we had that huge gap down. The stock lost $100 a share, huge gap down, huge reduction in market cap value. And then today they're resubmitting. They made adjustments, they made changes, they got some new data, and now they said the drug works. They're resubmitting it to the FDA, and that's why you have this huge gap up today. But this is where the fundamental analysis comes into play here. I wasn't buying the gap up. I thought it was too big of a gap up considering this news because we were gapping up so big right into a key resistance area that is a gap fill. Okay, right here is the gap down. Okay, so a gap fill takes you right to this price point right here. This low right here is 320.14. Okay, so essentially 320. All right, we'll leave that line right there. There's the line. There's the gap fill. That's a key area of resistance. That's exactly where we were gapping up just below on this news. And I'm thinking to myself, just because they've resubmitted their application, yes, does it show confidence in the company in that they stand behind their drug and they're confident in their drug? Of course it does. Every company's confident in their drug. Otherwise, they wouldn't go through the expensive process of FDA trial and try to get FDA approval. Costs millions and millions and millions of dollars to go through an FDA trial. So if the companies didn't believe in it, they wouldn't do it in the first place. But that does not mean that there's any greater chance of the drug getting approved than there was in March when the company was denied. Okay? More so, this is going to be a very long process. Okay? It's not like they resubmit it and they hear back from the FDA a week from now. This is going to be a long process. And I'm thinking to myself that, after the initial hype from the news kind of fades, and then, that I thought that the stock was going to pull back into this huge gap. Okay, I thought it was going to fade and pull back into this huge gap as the hype from the news fades. And then you're not going to get real direction until you get some clarity and some updates on the trials, on the data, on the drug, on what the FDA is thinking about their drug. That's when you'll start to get some real movement. Listen, guys, if this drug gets approved, you're looking at a $500 stock. I mean, they're going to be, it's for Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's is a huge issue in the United States. Over 5 million people a year suffer from it. By 2050, it's expecting to be like 14 million people a year just in the United States alone. So it would be huge. But for now, I thought it was too big of a gap up, and we were gapping up right into a key technical level. So I'm using fundamental analysis and the understanding of the FDA process and all of that in conjunction with the very key resistance level on the daily chart to say this is a beautiful short opportunity. And that's why coming into the day today, this was my number one focus. I wasn't looking at any small caps. I just focused in on this short, guys, and we nailed it. So here's this line on the daily chart. Now let's go intraday to the 3-minute. Look at where we found resistance in the morning. Right at that level. So right off the bell, we open up, guys, and we push right up to that level, 318 high of the day, and then we pull it all the way back down towards the lows. And on that rejection up there, I got short BIIB right there. I'll zoom in my trade announcements. Here you can see short BIIB at 312.68, stop loss around 320. All right, there's a short entry at 312.68. Now, I shorted the individual stock itself. It's a very expensive stock, $300. A lot of people don't have that kind of capital to go after the stock itself. So a lot of TTG members went after put options on this instead and caught 150%, 200%. One member even caught 500% on those put options, and it was a really, really good trade, a home run for everybody all around. Now, once we broke down here below the initial morning low, okay, I started to take some profits off the table around 305. Why 305? 305 was a level that I wanted to pay. Well, let me delete this line first. Let me go back. Why is 305 a level I want to take profits at? Because of this previous double bottom. Okay, there's previous support here at this 305 level. Okay, this 305, 305.50. This is a previous little double bottom. So I wanted to make sure once we get down to that level, I want to take some profits off the table just in case that area holds and the stock just puts in a tight consolidation day and we just consolidate the gap up and the stock just trades sideways. I didn't want to get stuck in that type of action. So once we broke through that initial morning low, there's your initial morning low. We break down, and I just took a piece of profit off the table right there, guys. Take it back to my announcements at 304. So I covered 25% in 304 after being short from 312.68. And then you can see we tried to bounce back above that initial morning low, and we got denied. Okay, and we held down below that initial morning low. And right here, this is where I feel like I could have traded this a lot better. This is why I got out of this trade way too soon. I thought after that rejection right there, I thought we were going to roll over right there. Right there, I thought we were going to break below 300, get down to the 290s, and that was going to be my next take profit. But we ended up holding this 300 level. Okay, and once we were holding the 300 level, I just thought to myself, man, you know what? There's a lot of buying pressure down there in front of $3. I mean, in front of $300. I thought we were going to roll over and break. We held it, and I was just being extra safe, and I covered another piece of the position right here at 303.10. This is what screwed me up because now I'm only down to 25% of my position. Okay, and you can see we ended up getting rejected at that initial morning low once again and then rolled over. Now that we start to roll over, instead of still being in 75% of my position, I'm only in 25% of my position. So on this breakdown, I only had one last tier left, and I ended up covering that last piece of the position right there at 293.32. So there's the final take profit, 293.32, guys. Home run trade. Okay, still a big move. Okay, you're talking almost $20 a share on that last piece. But, you know, we can see we went much lower. We went all the way down to 380. So I left $13 on the table there, and I can't help but think to myself, if I did not cover that piece right there, that my next take profit on this is probably here, and then my final take profit is probably somewhere more down here. And it could have been a much, much bigger trade. That's why I'm saying this trade was kind of bittersweet, because it still was a great trade, guys. I mean, we knocked it out of the park, but it could have been an even bigger trade. So, but I'll never be upset over not making enough money. My job's to make money. I executed a good trade. I pulled out some really good P&L. Job well done. Pat myself on the back. Not be upset that I didn't trade it perfectly. Recognize what I could have done better. Help implement that in my next trading, or in my next trade tomorrow, or next week, or whatever. But still, you got to pat yourself on the back when you make a good trade. It's important to build self-confidence. You know, this game that we play is hard enough. So when you do make a good trade, you've got to you know, say, hey, good job, and not beat yourself up over not trading it perfectly. So that's why it's a little bittersweet. Still a really good trade, but it could have been better. Okay, but still, I mean, we played it perfectly. The stock did exactly what we thought it was going to do. It was nice. It was a good one. Now let's get to the swing trade, JNUG. Okay, I'm long JNUG for a swing, guys. Intended hold time is about 1 to 2 weeks. The premise for this swing, guys, is a descending wedge pattern on the daily chart. Okay, we've got a descending wedge pattern here on the daily chart that I'm going to point out to you here. I mean, it's clean. All right, this is a clean descending wedge. Here's your lower highs, and here are your lower lows. Okay, so here's your descending wedge pattern, and today we double bottomed at that previous pivot low. Okay, we double bottomed at that previous pivot low. So I'm really liking what I'm seeing here on this descending wedge pattern. Descending wedges are typically trend reversal patterns, and the trade is triggered when you break above this downtrend resistance line. So if we break above this downtrend resistance line, which will take us through around 58, 50, I think we've got a real nice move up into this region. The mid 60s is going to be my final target here on this trade, and we'll see if we get up there within the next 1 to 2 weeks. We also got some Brexit news today. Just some more Brexit uncertainties that I think are going to help gold bounce. Gold has pulled back in over the last month and a half because recessionary fears have subsided. So gold has kind of pulled back in as the fear of recession has started to slow. But I'm thinking with some Brexit chaos that maybe we get a little bit of a bounce back in gold. And I'm thinking that the gold miners start to see a little bit of recovery from that action. And that's why I'm long JNUG. Let me delete all of this stuff to clean this up a little bit here. I'm going to leave this double bottom line up there so you can see it once we go intraday. Okay, let's go intraday and let's pan this out. There's your double bottom. Okay, here's today's lows and there's that previous low. There's the double bottom. Okay, so once we put this double bottom in and then we got that Brexit news, I'm saying to myself, okay, you know what? We're kind of using fundamental analysis and technical analysis in conjunction with another together to identify a really good trade opportunity. That's what we did on BIIBI, fundamental plus technical. That's what we're doing here again on JNUG. Okay, the SPY started to pull off a little bit away from all-time highs. We're going to have some difficulty up at those all-time high levels. We go back to the SPY. Okay, go out to the daily chart. You can see this little red candle we got put in here. If we start to see a little bit more downside action on the SPY, maybe the SPY gets down to 296. Okay, we could see a little bit more of a move higher in gold. You've got Brexit. Okay, if that can cause gold to recover, because that can cause a little bit of chaos in the global currency markets. That can cause gold to recover and rebound. You've also got a Fed meeting coming up here at the end of October. That's going to influence the price of gold as well. So there's some fundamental aspects and some fundamental factors that are at play with this trade. This is not one of those trades where you buy it, the stock's going to do whatever it's going to do, and you set your stop and you have your profit targets and that's it. No, you've got to pay attention to these outside factors that are going to affect the price of gold, because that will have a direct effect on the price action on JNUG. Not to say they're a direct correlation, because they're not. JNUG is an ETF for junior gold mining companies. Gold is actually the gold commodity, but those companies are directly affected as the price of gold rises and falls because of their profits. Okay? So we got to keep eyes on this JNUG, guys. I'll take you to my trade announcements. I'm long JNUG at 54.75. My stop loss is going to be just below that double bottom area. This is excellent risk reward on this trade, because I'm risking like $1.25, $1.35 to potentially make like $10. Okay, so here's the entry. The entry was right there, and there's my stop loss. Okay, we get below this level, I'm out of the trade. So I have such small risk. Okay, and if I'm right, I think we're going to get a move up to here in the next maybe 2 weeks. So if you look at, guys, there's my risk. There's my potential reward. That's tremendous risk reward. Okay, tremendous. So if I'm right, this is going to be a home run, because I'm long so close to my stop loss that, I've got so much wiggle room on this. We'll see. But we're going to need some of these outside factors really to work in our favor, because, gold has not been this has not been a strong stock. JNUG has not been a strong stock. Gold has not been strong. It's pulled back in. We need to see gold recover in order for this trade to work out. And more importantly, we've got to get above this downtrend resistance line in order for us to really turn this thing around and get back up towards the 60s. But I just love the risk reward on this, guys. It's such low risk. It's such great potential reward. So we'll see what happens over the next couple of days. And I'll keep you posted and keep you updated on this JNUG. But that's why, guys, today was all about fundamental plus technical, taking those two analyses, bring them together to generate a really solid trade idea. I'll see you guys in chat tomorrow. Take care.